We know each other now, don't we?
That's right.
We do.
To Oz?
To Oz.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the things that hit us like a house falling from the sky when we rewatched The Wizard of Oz after seeing Wicked. If you haven't seen Wicked or don't know what's coming in part 2, this is your spoiler warning.
Just as for fun, the melody of the Unlimited theme is actually the first 7 notes of Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Number 10. How did the lion learn to speak? Let's address the flying monkey in the room. Yes, we know Wicked doesn't perfectly align with L. Frank Baum's world, but hear us out.
Listen to me! You're not being told the whole story!
The lion cub, terrified and seemingly incapable of human speech, first appears in a history class on cages. Elphaba and Fiyero free him, but what happens next?
Fiyero, what are you doing?
Well, you coming?
All we know is that he grows into that lion. With animals losing their human-like traits, how did he even learn to talk?
I haven't any courage at all. I even scare myself. Look at the circles under my eyes. I haven't slept in weeks.
Is there a hidden animal refuge in Oz? If so, wouldn't that be where his cowardice came from? And honestly, it's a bit presumptuous to assume that without Elfie, he would have even had a chance to fight his own battles at all.
And the lion also has a grievance to repay. If she let him fight his own battles when he was young, he wouldn't be a coward today!
Number 9. The relationship between Glinda and the Wicked Witch. The central love story of Wicked is the one between Elphaba and Glinda. They go from enemies to besties, and as we leave them in part 1, they've just said their tearful farewells. Sadly, their next meeting isn't so friendly, but it does fall into the Wizard of Oz timeline. Is it just us, or is it hard not to look for subtext in their interactions?
Their magic must be very powerful, or she wouldn't want them so badly.
You stay out of this, Glinda, or I'll fix you as well.
Oh, rubbish. You have no power here. Be gone before somebody drops the house on you too.
Suddenly, we're not just seeing 2 sworn enemies, but 2 people who definitely have a history. Within Wicked's context, both have their reasons for being furious, one of which is addressed in this scene.
Who killed my sister? Who killed the Witch of the East? Was it you?
No, it was an accident. I didn't mean to kill anybody.
Knowing what's to come definitely makes us watch it all differently. Number 8. Those poor flying monkeys. Hands up, who else was absolutely terrified of those flying monkeys as a kid? It's practically a childhood rite of passage.
Now fly! Fly!
Since they are the Wicked Witch's minions, we really couldn't see anything other than the winged beasts that haunted our nightmare. But Wicked gives us an origin story for how these primates got their wings, and it's heartbreaking. Spoiler time, the wizard manipulates Elphaba into casting the spell, turning them into flying spies to help oppress the animals.
You have no real power.
That's why I need you.
Don't let her get away!
So yeah, still terrifying, but now tragic too. If their Wizard of Oz appearance terrifies you, just wait. We may never stop fearing them, but at least our terror now comes with a side of sympathy.
Something bad is happening in Oz.
Number 7. Why the wizard was so keen to get out of Oz. In Baum's book, the Emerald City is just a green-tinted illusion, a detail the 1939 movie mostly skips.
Nobody's ever seen the Great Oz. Even I've never seen him.
Well, then how do you know there is one?
Because I don't.
Though it might explain why the same guy plays the gatekeeper, guard, cabbie, and wizard in the Merry Land of Oz. As Wicked makes clear, the wizard is actually a pretty awful guy.
They were the lines they wanted to hear. Elphaba, where I'm from, we believe all sorts of things.
Some have noted the film's timeliness, but given Oz's history, the parallels aren't exactly shocking. Anyway, toward the movie's end, the wizard offers to escort Dorothy home himself.
Well, you forced me into a cataclysmic decision. The only way to get Dorothy back to Kansas is for me to take her there myself.
A selfless, heroic act? Maybe not. Spoiler incoming, following some dramatic events, Glinda banishes him from Oz. So Dorothy's departure conveniently lets him leave with his reputation intact, at least in the eyes of his devotees.
I, your wizard, Paradua ad Alta, am about to embark upon a hazardous and technically unexplainable journey into the outer stratosphere.
Not that he ends up helping her either. Number 6. Some familiar choreography. The movie's creative teams watched the stage version of Dancing Through Life and said, okay, now watch this. It's a spectacular showstopper with so much to take in.
Perfect.
You're perfect.
So we're perfect together. Born to be forever. Dancing through life.
One thing we think we noticed is some choreography that seems to be inspired by the Scarecrow's moves in If I Only Had a Brain. Nothing to read into there. Also, when the full ensemble dances together, it's almost giving hints of the deleted Jitterbug number from the 1939 film. Hey, if they weren't using it, why not? Elsewhere, you'll notice characters tend to have a little skip in their step that feels as if they're following in the path of their cinematic predecessor.
We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. Here he is, a wizard of a wizard, ever a wizard was.
Number 5. Who controls the weather in Oz? Not to get too deep, but after watching Wicked, it's hard not to see the 1939 film as the propaganda version of events, while Wicked reveals the truth.
Let me tell you the whole story.
Take the tornado, for instance. Isn't it suspiciously convenient that it struck Oz at just the right time, dropping a house squarely on the Wicked Witch of the East? As Wicked reveals, this was no random act of nature. With that in mind, if someone could conjure a deadly tornado, couldn't they also whip up, say, a catastrophic drought?
When life in Oz was different. So, when and why did this change?
From what I've read, the Great Drought.
Precisely.
Now, who in Oz might have a talent for manipulating the weather? Perhaps someone who supports the oppression of animals? It's like the wizard himself says.
Best way to bring folks together is to give them a real good enemy.
Number 4. So that's where we've heard that melody before. While watching Wicked, did you find yourself thinking, where have I heard this before? Then you rewatched The Wizard of Oz, and suddenly it all clicked.
She's gone!
Good news, she's dead.
Yes, that was a nod to Ding Dong the Witch is Dead just before No One Mourns the Wicked. And yeah, those were subtle hints of optimistic voices we could hear in one short day.
Keep straight ahead for the most glorious place on the face of the earth or the sky.
So I'll be back for good someday. To make my life and make my way.
Oh, and while listening to Follow the Yellow Brick Road, did you suddenly find yourself singing,
Can't I make you understand? You're having delusions of grandeur.
Wicked borrows plenty from the Wizard of Oz score, but perhaps the most iconic is the Unlimited theme, which uses the same first 7 notes as Over the Rainbow, just with a few Schwartzian twists.
Completely different rhythmically and harmonically. It goes somewhere over the rainbow. And the Unlimited theme is... and so on.
Number 3. Glinda the Good? We don't think so. When we first watched The Wizard of Oz, we accepted Glinda as the good witch. She's beautiful after all, right? But now we can't help but see someone who, like her Wicked counterpart, hasn't fully earned the title.
They're gone. The ruby slippers. What have you done with them? Give them back to me or I'll...
It's too late. There they are, and there they'll stay.
For starters, she seems to enjoy the Munchkin celebration a bit too much, especially given her personal connection to the deceased. And Glinda, Dorothy made an enemy of the Wicked Witch.
I'm afraid you've made rather a bad enemy of the Wicked Witch of the West. The sooner you get out of Oz altogether, the safer you'll sleep, my dear.
No, hun, you did that when you handed over her sister's shoes. Also, Follow the Yellow Brick Road. What, were the trains on strike? Yes, we're aware that's a new addition. If Dorothy's life was in danger, and it's your fault, maybe skip the life lessons and just send her home.
You've always had the power to go back to Kansas.
I have.
Then why didn't you tell her before?
Because she wouldn't have believed me. She had to learn it for herself.
Number 2. Why is the Scarecrow hanging out with Dorothy? Dorothy's more mature companions raised eyebrows long before Wicked, but now, with the musical's backstories, we have even more questions, especially about the Scarecrow. Spoiler again, in Part 2, we learn Fiyero left Glinda for Elphaba, and later she unintentionally turns him into a scarecrow to save his life.
Look at the chanting. I don't even know what I'm reading. I don't even know what trick I ought to try. Fiyero, where are you?
So why is he hanging out with the girl who's wearing his girlfriend's late sister's shoes and who's tasked with stealing her transportation? Maybe he really is brainless if he's getting cozy with those who want her dead, or with the guy who forced his beloved to live as an outlaw.
Doctor of Thinkology. Sum of the square roots of any two sides of an isosceles triangle is equal to the square root of the remaining side. Oh, joy! Rapture!
This has to be part of a bigger plan, right? Because as it stands, it makes zero sense.
I'm not afraid of her. I'll see you get safely to the wizard now, whether I get a brain or not.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. We now have more empathy for the Wicked Witch of the West. Back in the day, good and evil were seen as black and white, but Wicked challenges that.
Are people born wicked? Or do they have wickedness thrust upon them?
We can't be the only ones who find ourselves siding with the witch in this scene.
Give me back my slippers. I'm the only one that knows how to use them. They're no use to you. Give them back to me. Give them back.
Keep tight inside of them. Their magic must be very powerful, or she wouldn't want them so badly.
Wouldn't you be mad? We sure would. We might not have gone full Wicked Witch on anyone, but we get her frustration. Also, have you listened to her as she melts?
Oh, what a world, what a world! Who would have thought a good little girl like you could destroy my beautiful wickedness? Ah, look out! Look out! I'm going!
It's so dramatic, almost like she's just doing it for show. It would also explain why someone with an aversion to water would leave a bucket full lying around. With our newfound empathy for her, we like to think she found a fresh start somewhere, maybe with a certain scarecrow in tow. Is there anything else that struck you about The Wizard of Oz after watching Wicked? Follow on down to the comments and let us know.
Just follow the road. It's gonna lead you right.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.